Hello everyone, it's July 1st and it's 72 degrees at 10:30 in the morning. We're getting a nice break from the recent heat wave. But I just harvested the potatoes out of this pot. They were a failure. There was only about 15 small potatoes. So, don't know what I did wrong there. As you can see, the basil is doing quite nicely in the pot here. Likes the heat. The lemon tree's struggling this year. Doesn't look like it's gonna produce any lemons. We got a new lemon tree here from Home Depot. That's a really old lemon tree that has never produced a lemon, but has grown pretty large. And the tall Dracaena plant over there. Planted a little rosemary plant in there as well. Here's the other rosemary plant that I've had for 3 years. It suffered this past winter. I just kept it in the garage. I should probably put it down in the basement. And over here we got the gladiolus. They're just starting to bloom. With a few canna plants here in the middle. I'd like to see them doing a little better. The salvia has bounced back nicely and is blooming now. Canterbury bells are hanging in there, but definitely need to stake them up next year when the iris are done blooming, as well as the columbine. I had to tie up these Shasta daisies. They were falling all over the place. And some baby's breath in there. Looks like these foxgloves are slow going, but they're looking decent. And the black-eyed Susans are looking really nice, as well as the echinacea. And lots of zinnias. Parsley plant is still doing well. We just have had one heat wave, so usually it doesn't care too much for the heat. A few more rosemaries and some thyme here. Lavender. Trim back the sage and oregano. Some asparagus, more zinnias. Volunteer gladiolus. And the American giant sunflowers are growing quickly. Now look at these monster bell peppers. These are the best bell peppers I've ever grown. They are the Red Knight variety from Johnny Seeds. Yeah, but look here, the Ozark Giants from Baker Creek are doing very well too. These Buena Mulatas have been very prolific. They're a lot hotter than I anticipated, like a Tabasco pepper. And then these Jimmy Nardellos have also, I can't hardly keep up with them. They're pretty tasty, sweet Italian pepper. This Shusido plant here broke on me because I didn't have a cage for it, but now I do. I don't know if that plant will still keep going or not. The other Shiseido plant is very hard to keep up with. And starting to get lots of jalapenos. Lipstick pepper is starting to bloom and might produce soon. They're very tasty red pepper, but it's kind of finicky, doesn't produce much usually. This is the Tam jalapeno from Baker Creek. Produces a nice standard size jalapeno with good taste and heat. You can see the cherry tomatoes got out of hand quickly. I'm just gonna let them run wild and see what happens. But they were the first to produce, Sun Gold and the Sweet 100s. And next to them, I planted a Black Krim. You can see one in there right now. They have been the first to produce a ripe regular tomato. And the Lemon Boy Plus from Johnny Seeds has produced a ripe yellow tomato. Let's see some more down there. The Celebrity Pluses, they look pretty healthy, but they haven't produced a ripe tomato yet. And then the Plum Regals, sauce tomatoes. Looks like they should produce nicely. It's looking like a good year for tomatoes, unlike the past couple years. We're getting a lot of breaks from the heat and not quite as wet or dry. The Martino's Roma tomato from Baker Creek. It's a sauce tomato. It's producing a lot. I think it's gonna be a good variety. I'll stick with them, especially if they beat out the Plum Regals, because those are some expensive seeds from Johnny's. These white sweet Spanish and yellow sweet Spanish onions. I don't know if they got hit by something, maybe some thrips, but they don't look very good. It's a long day onion. I probably shouldn't have grown it in Kansas. Gotta stick with short day and intermediate day varieties. But I'll leave them in the ground and see if they make a decent bulb. Starting to get a little bit of disease on the bottoms of the tomatoes, so I might try to trim them up soon. I probably should have kept planting beans, because we might actually have somewhat of a mild summer if this weather continues to hold. But usually the ones that come to fruit in July and August are no good because it's too hot. So I kind of was waiting till the middle of July to plant my next set of beans. That way they come to fruit when it's a lot cooler. So I'll be planting those soon to fill up these two beds. Pull these onions out at some point. And over there where the shade cloth is, I just direct seeded a whole bed with cabbages and broccolis, brassicas. And then I have this other bed with straw on it. That's where I plan on putting my transplants that I have growing in the basement. And the corn is very close to being ready to pick. Got some more sunflowers over here. And this second planting of carrots I did in late April is doing pretty well since we haven't had too much heat. So I'll leave them in the ground and see if they get any bigger. Kind of had some small carrots this year so far. But it'll be time for planting the fall carrots here in a couple weeks as well. So sure hope the good Lord keeps blessing us with some nice mild summer weather. Forgot about these cucumbers and summer squash and winter squash that I planted where I had the wheat. There's quite a bit of wheat sprouting up in between them, but hopefully I can keep that under control. Other than that, they're doing pretty good. There's a couple watermelons down on the very end too. We'll see how this late planting of squashes goes, because I've had a lot of problems with squash bugs over the years. So far I haven't seen any